We've all met that person who barely glances at a textbook but aces the exam. The child prodigy playing Mozart at age 4. When we see raw intelligence, our first instinct is to look at the parents. We say, it's in their genes. For decades, we've been obsessed with the idea that our DNA is a locked vault containing our cognitive destiny. A biological barcode that determines whether you'll be a genius, average, or left behind. But what if the barcode is unreadable on its own? Let's find out if you are smart because of your DNA or something else. To understand the genetic baseline of intelligence, scientists looked at the perfect natural experiment. Identical twins separated at birth and raised apart. When researchers studied these twins, they found striking similarities. Despite having different parents, different schools, and different diets, their IQ scores often mirrored each other closely. This led to a profound, yet deeply misunderstood concept: heritability. You'll often hear that intelligence is 50% to 80% heritable. People assume this means 80% of your personal intelligence comes from your parents and 20% from your environment. That is entirely wrong. Heritability doesn't measure individuals. It measures the variance within a population. It simply means that in a perfectly equal society, where everyone has the exact same education and nutrition, the remaining differences in intelligence would largely be due to genetics. But we don't live in a perfectly equal society. Heritability is highly context-dependent. If you are raised in absolute poverty, the heritability of intelligence drops practically to zero. The environment becomes a concrete ceiling that genes cannot break through. So, if genes matter, where is the smart gene? When scientists first mapped the human genome, they expected to find a handful of genes that controlled intelligence. They found nothing of the sort. Instead, using massive Genome-Wide Association Studies, or GWAS, they discovered that intelligence is aggressively polygenic. There is no single genius gene. There are thousands of tiny genetic variants scattered across your DNA, each contributing a microscopic fraction of a point to your cognitive ability. Today, scientists can look at your DNA and calculate a polygenic score, a statistical prediction of your educational attainment and cognitive potential. But these scores are not destiny. They are probabilistic. A high polygenic score is like being dealt a good hand in poker. It gives you a statistical advantage, but a bad player can still lose with a royal flush, and a master can win with nothing. DNA provides the raw materials. But raw materials don't build a house. Something has to assemble it. To understand how the house is built, we have to ask why it exists at all. The human brain is an evolutionary anomaly. It accounts for only 2% of your body weight, but it aggressively devours 20% of your body's daily energy. Why would evolution favor such an incredibly expensive organ? The answer isn't so we could do calculus. According to the social brain hypothesis, we developed massive brains to survive the most complex environment on Earth, each other. We needed to navigate social hierarchies, detect deception, and engage in cultural learning. We survived by observing, mimicking, and transmitting knowledge across generations. Evolution didn't give us a hardwired supercomputer. It gave us an extraordinarily adaptable learning machine, a machine that is born severely unfinished. When you are born, your brain is a chaotic web. In your first few years, your brain undergoes synaptogenesis, violently overproducing trillions of neural connections. But intelligence isn't about having the most connections, it's about having the most efficient ones. Through a process called synaptic pruning, your brain ruthlessly eliminates the pathways you don't use. Use it or lose it isn't a metaphor, it's cellular biology. Simultaneously, a fatty tissue called myelin wraps around the frequently used pathways, insulating them and increasing signal speed up to 100 times. Myelination and pruning continue for decades. Your prefrontal cortex, the seat of complex planning, logic, and impulse control, isn't fully finished until your mid-20s. And this is where effort physically alters reality. When you struggle to learn a new concept, you are triggering long-term potentiation, LTP. Repeated firing of the same neural circuits actually changes the physical structure of the synapses, making future communication across that pathway easier. Effort isn't just a psychological concept. Effort is the physical architecture of intelligence being built in real time. But what happens when the construction site is compromised? Over the course of the 20th century, a strange phenomenon occurred. Across the globe, average IQ scores rose by roughly 3 points per decade. This is known as the Flynn Effect. This shattered the idea of genetic determinism. Human DNA did not mutate that fast. We didn't suddenly evolve. The environment shifted. Better nutrition meant brains had the calories to build myelin. The reduction of toxins like lead in paint and gasoline stopped the poisoning of developing nervous systems. Access to abstract education forced millions of brains to wire themselves for complex problem solving. Conversely, we now know that chronic stress and socio-economic deprivation flood the developing brain with cortisol, literally altering the physical development of the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. The environment acts as a master volume knob for your genetics. You can have the DNA of a genius, but if you are starved of nutrients, exposed to neurotoxins, or trapped in chronic survival mode, those genes may never be expressed. Is intelligence determined by genetics? Is it shaped by the environment? Or is it built through effort? The tension between these forces isn't a battle. It's a biological feedback loop. Your DNA hands you a unique blueprint, but it is a reactive one. It waits for the environment to provide the building materials. It waits for nutrition, safety, and cultural knowledge. And most importantly, it waits for you. Through neuroplasticity and the friction of hard work, your daily actions signal your genes, prompting them to alter the physical structure of your mind. You are not purely a product of your DNA. Your DNA is a product of your environment, and your brain is the ongoing masterpiece of your own effort. You aren't just born smart, you are built. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this.